morning, Principles of Business and Finance. It is Miss Archer. So today you see our agenda. We're starting on the last and final part of 6, which is 6.02. You guys are going to be doing some do now, focusing on yesterday's activity with the accounting forms. We're going to go through 602 PowerPoint, which also has 602 student notes. And then we are going to just be reviewing return on capital, cash conversion, cycle. These are just some sheets I want you guys to look at. And then the last part of Objective 6 is the 6.0 quiz, and then the exit ticket focusing on balance sheets. As always, all these assignments that are posted into the Google Classroom are due May 15th. If you do need an extension, please let me know. At the very bottom of the screen, of course, you see Mr. Moore's contact information, which includes his email and his Remind join. And then you also see my email, my Google Voice, and my Remind. Let's begin. So 602 focuses on some knowledge of finance to understand its nature and scope. So this is a relatively short PowerPoint. So again, we're distinguishing the difference between what is accounting and what is finance. So accounting is the process of keeping and interpreting these financial records. And we touched bases on some of them the other day when we looked at balance sheets and income statement. Now, finance is actually obtaining the funds and using them to achieve the goals for a business. So you have things such as financial management, which makes sure that you're getting the funds and that you're getting them effectively and then utilizing them for the overall objective of the business. And then we look at things as far as how the availability of the funds, the importance of the funds. So these people would be, of course, in the finance department, but like head of overall of that are your CFOs, which are your chief financial officers. These are the ones that handle the money in the business, and they tell you who to spend it, where to get it, how they give you all the things financially. So this is what a CFO does. So now in business, the finance is just the function that involves all the money and management, but then accounting is the process of making sure is all the sheets and interpreting that they are done the correct way. So a company's financial managers have two main goals: ensuring that the business is profitable as it can be, and then reducing the business's financial risk. So the purpose of the finance function is, of course, to boost the company's growth, but still reduce the risk, which is just what stated earlier. So the purpose of accounting function is to provide accurately and timely information. It's nothing worse than if the CEO was going into a board meeting saying, hey, this is where we're going in the next couple of months, and we don't have the funds there. So it would be something similar to the president standing up and saying, well, we're going to give everybody in the country like the stimulus payment. They had to make sure that the money was there for them to give everybody who qualified for the $1,200 stimulus payment. It would have been nothing worse than staying up and saying, well, everybody's going to get the $1,200 or whatever, however much it was, stimulus payment. And then the finance people came back, the treasury came back and said, hey, we don't have that money to do this. So then you have to backpedal. So they want to make sure you have the most accurate information to give out. So financing activities, importantly, we work on capital investment decisions. So capital is determining what happens to the money that has been invested in the business and how the investment is going to be financed and whether or not it's going to pay dividends and shareholders. So all this talks about is the money that, say I own a business and each one of you input money into my business. My finance officer is going to be the one to sit down and say, okay, well, this person gave this much money into the business and this person gave this much money into the business. This is their share of it back because you want to see your return of investment. Think Shark Tank. My entrepreneurship class is watching Shark Tank videos. And so this is a great example of how when the sharks are making ideas on how they're going to get their money back, you know, they're investing money into this company, they want to make sure that they're getting their money back over the course of time. Then you have working capital. So this is just the management of a firm's current balance of assets and liabilities and involves how the accounts payable and receivable and inventory and cash work. So accounts payable is just that. It is a department that handles the company's bills. So they're paying the bills to the company's creditors, anybody that's giving them money. Accounts receivable is just a part of the company that records the cash coming into the business. So this is what they look at. So the trick to remember the difference between a capital investment decision and then a working capital management is to think of it in terms of time. Capital investment decisions are more of a long term. They involve the company projects over time. They're going to want to know that their money is coming back to them in spades. They're going to want more money than they have. So that means it's going to take a little bit longer for it to kind of sit and have a return on investment. Working capital is more short term. So it refers to the accounts payable and receivable, which are normally settled within a year's time. So these are not things that roll over for a long period of time. So a key component of managing work capital is the cash conversion cycle. Now, this is something that we're not going to touch on very heavily, but I want you guys to be familiar with it. So the cash conversion cycle of working capital, it is a ratio that refers to the number of days between a company's paying for a raw material and receiving cash for making the product from the raw material. So the cash conversion cycle goes by many names. It goes by asset conversion cycle, working capital cycle, net operating cycle, cash cycle. So what we're looking at here when it says the ratio, so let's think of Enviva and the paper mills. So from the time that there is a truck that delivers logs and cut down trees to the time that Enviva takes those logs, make them in, we're going to say paper, and then gets it to a company and they sell the paper. This is what that cycle focuses on. So it's looking at the number of days that happen in between, because the company that is originally going to be selling the paper has to buy the logs, has to pay Enviva for processing it, has to pay a truck driver to get into point A, point B, has to pay a packaging company to get it in there. So they're thinking of how long does it take to get from A to B. This is what they're looking at. So financial managers are going to keep the conversion cycle as short as possible, because the longer it is, that means the money is tied up in getting it together. Financial managers want to have as much free cash to work with as possible, because you never know what may happen. And then investors are always going to be invested in the company, but they're going to look to see how long it takes for a turnaround to get a product done. As we start reviewing, Shark Tank might be one I throw in here because it is such a good example of this. When the sharks are going back and forth with the people that are trying to get money for their products, they want to know what's the turnaround time on getting the money back. And that's a big component of Shark Tank. They want to know, if I'm investing $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, I need to know how long it's going to take me to get my money back. So a downward trend in this cycle is going to be a positive, because that means the less time that it takes for a turnaround, the more money that the company is saving and the person that is providing the investment is going to get back. Now, if it starts to take an upward trend, that means it's taking too long for something to get made from point A to point B, which means the company's money is tied up for a longer period of time. Then you have the return on the capital. So this is what I was just talking about. This is what is known as return on investment, or ROI, excuse me. So this is, again, how well a business can generate cash flow in relation to the capital that has been invested in it. So how long is it going to take me to get my money back? If I invest $100,000, I need to know how long it's going to take me to get my money back in a hair business or whatever type of business it is you invest in. You need to know the amount of time it's going to take you to get that money back. And if you ask for it with interest, then how long is it going to take me to get the money back with interest? So that is what return on investment or return on capital focuses on. And then there's different primary financing activities. So financing decisions, of course, it's a mix of things. And if you decide to take in a field and you go to school for accounting, your world will be opened up to just a vast range of things that you can do. It's not just all, accounting and stuff like that and working in accounts payable and receivable. You have auditing in different types of areas that you can definitely go into. So I would say definitely explore if accounting and numbers is something you're looking at. And then finance services, they're important in business because, one, they set goals for the future. They are the ones that are planning and controlling the company's spending. Can you imagine having a job where you are the one responsible for spending somebody else's money? Like, that would be a dream job for some people. You get paid to shop. So it just depends on the company that you're looking at. And then making sure that there's sufficient financing. So it's great to being able to make sure that you're shopping, but you need to make sure that you're also going to continue to have money coming in for you to go shopping. And then making sure that customers are paying bills. So these are your bill collectors. This is your department that makes sure we get our money in. If you're one that, you're on the lookout for a good investment and quick turnarounds on stuff, legal turnarounds on stuff, investing company money, that might be for you. So there are so many different channels of distribution in accounting that can work for anybody. So you have your due now today, which focuses on the accounting forms that we learned about yesterday. You have the student notes that go with the PowerPoint that I just went through. You're giving 3 different articles and there is no assignment with it. These are just strictly some background knowledge. So I want you guys to, glimpse at them, take a look at them, make sure you kind of got a good understanding of it, just to make sure that you understand some activities that go on with the return on a capital/investment, the cash conversion cycle, and then the working capital management. So you have an exit ticket for today, which of course is the balance ticket, focusing on balance sheets. And we did this yesterday with doing some balance sheets. The big thing that I want you guys to do is a 6.0 quiz. So this is kind of accumulation of everything that we went through with Objective 6. It's a very short unit, and I want you guys to take a minute and to answer the questions and then just get an understanding on it. Take your time on it. It's not timed or anything like that, but make sure that you're actually getting a very good and thorough understanding of what we just went over. As always, make sure you guys are getting your assignments done as quickly as possible and getting them into the classroom for me to grade. I am online most days from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Look in the stream in your Gmail to make sure that you're seeing the Zoom account. So that way, if you have questions or concerns regarding an assignment, if you log into the Zoom, I can share my screen with you, and it's easy for me to walk you guys through what issues and concerns you may have. Again, as always, contact information is there at the bottom for us, so that way if you have any questions or concerns, definitely reach out to us. Make sure, again, you're still getting your assignments done. As always, these assignments are not due until May 15th, and then we'll start the review process. I hope you guys are staying safe and sound. I hope your families are well during this time. Again, Governor Cooper has announced that we are closed for the remainder of the academic school year. That simply means that the buildings are closed. That does not mean that learning and teaching does not stop. So we are closed until June 30th, which is the end of our academic year. We don't know what's going to happen for the 2021 school year. We're still taking that a day at a time. We don't know about graduation. Everything is up in the air as of right now. But I pray you guys are safe. I keep you guys in my prayers at night, and I pray that you guys are doing well. I miss you guys. Please stay safe, stay sound, complete your assignments, and contact us if you need us. We appreciate you guys, and we love you guys. And as always, I will see you in the classroom.